Have you ever walked into your classroom or staff meeting and thought, any minute now, they're going to realize that I don't really know what I'm doing? If you've ever felt like that, especially as an early childhood educator, a new one at that, or a new assistant director, or a new lead teacher, or a new administrator, then you're not alone. Today, we're talking about imposter syndrome in early childhood education. And the truth is, feeling uncertain doesn't mean you're unqualified. It often means you care, you're learning, and you're growing. Here's what I want you to hold on to from the start. Confidence isn't a personality trait, it's a practice. Let's talk about how to lead confidently in early childhood education, even when you're new.
Hello, I am AI Beatrice, and welcome to the Elevating ECE podcast. This is the show for early learning directors, owners, program leaders, and entrepreneurs who believe excellence should be sustainable. Each week, you'll hear practical strategies, coaching, systems training, and responsible AI supports to help reduce daily friction, strengthen your team, and protect the work that matters most. Thanks for being here. Let's elevate early childhood together.
Elevating childhood education, where leaders rise, children thrive, and your program becomes a legacy of excellence.
Welcome back to the Elevating ECE podcast, where we build stronger early childhood educators, stronger programs, and stronger leaders in every area and in every capacity. In this episode, we're breaking down what imposter syndrome actually is and why it shows up in early childhood education, how to stop confusing new with not capable, practical leadership strategies for new teachers and new administrators, what to say in the moment you feel shaky, like those tough parent conversations, classroom management, or staff leadership, and how to build credible confidence without pretending you know everything. And yes, this episode is for you if you've ever Googled how to be confident as a new teacher, or how to lead staff when I'm new, or even why do I feel like a fraud at work? And so sometimes we expect it maybe when you're new in your role, but some have been in this role and they still struggle with this. We're going to dive deeper. So first, let's define, what does imposter syndrome mean in plain language? So it's the internal voice that says, I'm not as competent as they think I am. It's the fear of being found out. It's overthinking every decision. It's discounting your wins and magnifying your mistakes. And early childhood education has some unique pressure points that can intensify this feeling. You're caring for children, real humans with real emotions. You're dealing with families that trust you with what matters most to them. Licensing, ratios, safety, assessments, there's a lot at stake. There's a lot on your plate. And the work is often under resourced and undervalued. So if you're feeling that I'm not ready or I'm not equipped feeling, I want to offer you this quote. You don't have to feel ready to be ready. You don't have to feel equipped to be equipped. And another one that I love, the presence of fear is not the absence of the calling or your called to be where you are. New doesn't mean incapable. New means you're in the learning curve. Now let's talk about the big reframe. New is not equal to not qualified. Here's the trap. When you're new, you assume confidence should feel like uncertainty. But in early childhood education, certainty is rare because every child is different. Every classroom dynamic is different, and every day is different. So instead of chasing certainty, we build competence and credibility and consistency. So I want you to write this down. Get a piece of paper and pen. I want you to write this down. Confidence comes after evidence. Your brain wants to see proof. So we're going to give it some proof on purpose. Confidence isn't loud, confidence is steady. Let's name a few moments where imposter syndrome hits hardest in ECE. Number one, when you're managing behavior and you feel like the room is too much. Number two, when a veteran teacher questions your approach, even subtly. Number three, when a parent challenges you or asks a question you don't know how to answer. Number four, when you step into leadership, like a team lead or a coach or assistant director or even a director or even an owner, especially if you're younger than others that are there or if you're newer. Number five, when you compare yourself to the super teacher online or someone that you've seen or someone that you know of. Here's a quick reminder: comparison doesn't measure calling, it measures proximity. You are not behind and you're just simply becoming. Let's talk about the confident leader framework for new ECE pros. First, you want to borrow confidence with language. You don't need to know everything. You need professional language that communicates steadiness. Here are a few confidence scripts you can use immediately. So if you're speaking to a parent, you can say, "Thank you for sharing that. I'm going to look closely at what you're describing, and I'll follow up with you by tomorrow with next steps." Or if you're speaking to a supervisor or an owner, you can say, "I can't answer that fully yet, but I can gather the information today and come back with a clear plan." If you're speaking to staff, you can say, "Here's what we're focusing on this week. We'll keep it simple, consistent, and child centered." And when you don't know, you can say something like, "That's a great question. Let me confirm the best practice and get back to you." So it shows that it's not weakness, it's leadership. You respond appropriately even when you don't know, and it gives steadiness and it shows leadership. A confident leader doesn't pretend, a confident leader prepares. Something to remember: you don't have to have all the answers to have authority. So now let's talk about building a proof file. Imposter syndrome thrives on selective memory. And we have so many things that we're dealing with, so we can't remember everything. So we create a proof file, a note in your phone or a folder where you store evidence that you're effective. So things that you want to include are maybe a compliment that you received from a parent, a child's progress story, a staff win you helped create, a photo of a well run classroom moment, a note you write after a hard day. "I handled that with professionalism." Every time you feel like a fraud, read your proof. Next, focus on the next 1%. Confidence doesn't come from "I mastered the whole job." It comes from "I got 1% better today." So ask yourself, what's one classroom routine I can tighten? What's one transition I can smooth? What's one phrase I can use to de escalate? What's one relationship I can strengthen? Small improvements compound into strong leadership. Next, let's talk about anchoring to standards, not opinions. In ECE, people will have opinions. You may even have your own, lots of them. So when you're new, anchor your decisions to your licensing requirements, to program policies, to child development best practices, your center's mission and vision and values and vision statement. This reduces second guessing because you're not leading from vibes or not even from your own memory. You're leading from vision. When you anchor to standards, you stop drowning in opinions. Now, confidence equals consistency under pressure. Confidence is not, I never get nervous. Confidence is, I stay consistent even when I'm nervous. So try this. Before walking into a hard conversation, say, I can be new, or I can feel like I don't belong, but still be effective. I can be learning and still be leading. I don't have to perform, I have to be present. Let's consider a spiritual and emotional wholeness moment. If you're someone who leads from faith, I want to share this. You were equipped for the assignment, even while you're being developed. And emotionally, be careful how you speak to yourself. If you wouldn't say it to a new teacher you're mentoring or to a parent, don't say it to yourself. Talk to yourself like someone you're responsible for helping. Next, let's talk about a practical challenge: the 7-day confidence reps. So now this challenge is to make it practical. It's a 7-day challenge, and each day do one of these confidence reps. Number 1, write down one win. Number 2, use one confidence script. Number 3, ask one clarifying question instead of pretending that you know the answer. Number 4, tighten one routine. Number 5, have 1 2-minute connection with a child or a staff member. Number 6, review one best practice standard. And number 7, reflect. What did I handle better than last week? By the end of the 7 days, you will have evidence, and evidence that builds confidence. If you needed this episode, I want you to remember you're not an imposter, you're in process. If this helped you, share it with a new teacher, a new director, or a new leader or owner in early childhood education. Subscribe to Elevating ECE on your podcast platform, on YouTube. Like, subscribe, and comment. I'm leading while learning. And if you want resources, scripts, staff meeting tools, or leadership templates, check the links in the description. Until next time, keep elevating. Thank you for being here. Let's elevate early childhood education together.
Elevating childhood education, where leaders rise, children thrive, and your program becomes a legacy of